Okay, we're recording. So this is going to be a video, mainly making it to turn it into an Edpuzzle video for as an assignment for my students. However, I'm still going to post this to YouTube, so there'll be moments where I'll say that you can pause it and you should try and solve it for yourself, and then resume it after you get your answer, and I'll go through it and see if you got the right answer. And find out, that's a good way to learn. So let's try this. So if you're watching this video, you might want to just watch number one and then try number two. Or if you want to, you can pause it right now, try number one for yourself, and then resume it and watch how I solve it. So if you want to, go ahead and pause it. If not, then I am going to go through and solve this. So the first thing I am going to write down over off to the right are, I'm not going to write this every time, but there are two foolproof steps that if you do these steps in this order, you should never, ever incorrectly solve a one variable equation. So step one, simplify both sides. And step two is to cancel out operations or terms that are unwanted using inverse operations. All right, and that's plus, minus, and that is multiply and divide. Those are the inverse operations. So now I'll use those to explain what I mean. So when I say simplify both sides, there's an equal sign, which means there's a left side and a right side. So if I look at the left side of number one, that looks pretty darn simplified to me. It looks pretty darn simplified. It's just a negative 12. I can't do anything to it. But right, if I look at the right side, that's not simplified. And there's only one thing I can do to make it simplified, and that would be to combine these two like terms. So if I combine those, so if I get negative 12 equals 2, 5v plus 2v is 7v. All right, now is the right side simplified? I would say yes. I can't combine those. There's no multiplication or division to do. There's nothing to distribute. It's done. Step one is done now, right? I did it. Now step two is cancel out what I don't want, whether it's an operation or a term. So if I look here, there's actually two terms, and I want v by itself because I'm trying to solve for v. So I need to get rid of this term. And how do I cancel out that term? How do I cancel out a positive 2? What's the inverse of positive? Negative. So I need to subtract 2. So I will subtract 2, subtract 2. Both sides. So I get negative 12 minus 2, negative 14 equals, I guess I should cross it out. That's gone. 7v. Okay. Now I have one term. So I got rid of the term I didn't want, but now I need to get rid of an operation I don't want. I don't want this multiplication. I want 7 times v. I just want v. So what's the inverse of multiplication? Division. So let's divide both sides by 7. All right, and then that cancels out. So I get negative 2 equals v. My last thing is I'm a stickler with my students. I want it to be v equals negative 2, so I would flip-flop it. V equals negative 2. And what is that property? Is it the reflexive property or the symmetric property? It's the symmetric property. Okay, there's a mathematical property that says that If negative 2 equals v, then v equals negative 2. You can flip-flop it. All right, so this should be your answer. So I canceled out everything I didn't want using inverse operations. Okay, so following those same steps, simplify both sides first. Go ahead, pause the video, and try and solve this. Okay, well now I'm going to solve it. And the first thing I see is I see that this left side, I always start with left side first. Left side, not simplified. And the first thing I need to do is to distribute. So I get 6 times 6 is 36v. 6 times 6 again is 36. And then I just drop that minus 5, drop everything else that I didn't touch. Okay, now cover it up again. Is that left side simplified? No, it's not. I got two like terms that I can combine. So I get 36v. 36 minus 5 is 31. So I get plus 31 equals 1 plus 6v. Now, just like above here, I like the v on the left side. So I want that v to stay there, which means I don't want this v over here. So I'm on the step 2, so I'm skipping. So is that simplified? Yes. Now I look at the right side. Is that simplified? Yes. So now I'm on to step 2. Step 2 is I cancel out things I don't want. I don't want this v. I don't want this 6v on the right side. So how do I get rid of a positive? By subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 6v. And again, really important that v's go with v's, right? I'm not going to subtract 6 from this 31 because this is a 6v, all right? V's go with v's. Oh, yeah, by the way, and you cross that out. So now I get 30v plus 31 equals 1. Okay, all right. So now what do I cancel out? I got this 1 by itself over here. I have this v, but it's not by itself. I have 2 terms over here. And this one I don't want over there at all. So how do I get rid of that term? How do I get rid of a positive 31? By subtracting 31. Now it's gone. All right, and now I get 30v equals 1 minus 31 is negative 30. Now we're to the last step. How do I get rid of multiplication? With division. All right, and that cancels out. So now I am left with v equals negative 1. All right, going one by one, step 1, simplify both sides, and then slowly canceling one thing at a time, keeping track of it all. You should not be getting these wrong. All right, so hopefully you got that one right. If not, you understand where you messed up. All right, let's do a couple more. So go ahead, pause the video right now if you'd like to try this on your own. All right, now I'm going to go through and I'm going to solve it. If I look at the left side, not simplified at all. So the first thing I need to do is distribute. I'm going to distribute a positive 2. So I should get negative 4k. 2 times 5k is 10k. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. And then equals negative 3k minus 39. Again, simplified yet? No, it is not. I have 2 like terms. I can combine those. So negative 4k plus 10k is 6k. Drop the minus, drop everything else. Minus 12, minus 3k, minus 39. Okay, simplified. Yes, it is. Simplified. Yes, it is. Now I'm canceling out things I don't want. So again, remember, I want the variable on the left side. So I want that there, which means I don't want that there. So how do I get rid of a negative 3k? By adding 3k. So plus 3k, plus 3k. Again, k's go with k's. You're not adding 3k to this. You're not adding 3k to this. So I'll get rid of that. I get 9k minus 12 equals negative 39, because that was a negative 39. You're just dropping it down. All right, now I don't want this term, this negative 12 there, so I'm going to get rid of that by adding 12. That's gone. So now I get 9k. Negative 39 plus 12 should be negative 27. All right, now the very last step is I need to get rid of this multiplication, and I do that with division. All right, so I'm left with k equals negative 3. Forgot to cross something out. I need to cross this out. That's gone. Okay. Bingo, hopefully. All right, last one. Last one. Because it is time for me to get out of this building on a Sunday night and go home. All right, so end with a goodie. Fun stuff here. So if I cover up that side, I definitely need to distribute a couple of things. So I need to distribute this positive 10. And I need to distribute, there's an invisible 1 right there. So I need to distribute this negative 1 through here. So I'm going to get 10 times x, 10x, 10 times 3, positive 30. Negative 1 times negative 9 is positive 9x. Negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4, equals x minus 5 plus 3. Cover all that up. Not simplified yet, so I'm going to combine like terms. I get to combine those two and those two. So 10x plus 9x is going to be 19x, and then 30 plus 4 is going to be 34, and then equals x minus 5 plus 3. Cover that up, simplified. So now I look at the right side. Is that simplified? Nope, that's got two terms that I can combine. Now again, some of you might be doing all that at once. Totally fine to do. I'm just showing the foolproof way that if you do 1 by 1 by 1, you shouldn't be getting these incorrect. So negative 5 plus 3 should be negative 2. Okay, we just did step 1. We simplified the left side and the right side. So now we're going to get rid of things that we don't want. So I don't want this x over here because I want x's over here. So how do I get rid of a positive 1x? By subtracting 1x. All right, and that cancels out there. So notice how we didn't cancel out anything until we got here, right? The first step is simplifying everything. Then when you get to the second step, when both sides are simplified, that's when you start canceling stuff out. So 19x minus x is 18x plus 34 equals negative 2. All right, now I have my x's. I don't want this term. I don't want positive 34 there, so I'm going to get rid of that. So minus 34. It's going to cancel out, minus 34. So I get 18x equals negative 36. All right, down to the last step. I don't want this multiplication here, so how do I get rid of multiplication? With division. So divide both sides by 18. That cancels out there. And I get x equals, zoom out 1, and I get x equals negative 2. Is it a lot of writing? Yes, it's a lot of writing. But if you do it, you shouldn't be getting it wrong. So hopefully you got that right, at least by the fourth one. I know it looks like, looking at the original problem all the way up there, it looks pretty ugly. But really, all I did was I distributed, I combined like terms, I combined like terms, I subtracted one thing, I subtracted one thing, I divided one thing. If you break it into pieces and you make sure to do those pieces on both sides and keep track of things by writing it out, maybe use 2 different colors like I am, you should be fine. You should be getting these 100% right. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope that you were able to get questions right, or if you didn't get them right, to understand what you got wrong. So thank you for watching.